So when I was new, when I just came here, I wanted to buy new books, but I wanted to buy some books, but the cost of buying new books was too high, and the current classified sites they were completely useless. Because I had to travel to other end of the country just to buy some ESC 1 book, which was I don't think is completely feasible for anybody. Now, I'm a night owl, so I want food after 10 o'clock or after 12 o'clock or after 2 o'clock. But there is currently no option. Okay, in IIT Kanpur there is no eat, but there are set of very few options available for the students to find food delivered to them. Buying from the local platform itself is a pain because they don't have a logistical support either, or they don't even have an online system supporting their classifying their products. So finding an accommodation is still a pain because hey, bachelors are not allowed anywhere. So these are the pains that we wanted to address in one amalgamation, and that is campus art. So what exactly is campus art? Campus art is a cultural shift towards a better and smart society by meeting the demands within the residents, within the community, by meeting the demands within the supply of the community. So it is a to the community, for the community, and by the community platform. And these are the various services that we wanted to offer: peer-to-peer sharing, e-shops and logistics, hostel, PG, transportation, discussion forum, students portal. And one major thing that we wanted to say is that we are implementing many technologies like computer vision, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and such technologies to enrich to give a whole new experience of buying and trading between the platforms. We are also into the social campaign and donations, and these are the various events that we have conducted over the few months of our journey. So we have been in existence for about 6 months, but we have been active for about 2 months only, and these are the various photographs of the events that we have conducted. So coming to our business model is completely a SaaS model, where the subscription will be yearly or monthly basis, and plus there will be a nominal transaction fee. Apart from that, if once we have gathered a critical mass, then our advertisement will play a major role in the revenue. Coming to the market analysis, the data we have taken from AISHE, MHRD, states that there are currently 28 million college-going students in India, and over 100 million plus campus residents. Now, let's do some quick maths over here. In IIT Kanpur, there are approximately 600 students, and let's suppose that a student spends 50,000 per year in the total spending of food, accommodation, and books, transport, etc. So the total becomes 30 crores. Now let's add up quickly about the 28 million students. This is $20 billion industry. Even if we get 5% traction of the market, we are still looking at a $1 billion large industry. These are the market survey that we have conducted. So over 50 colleges participated in our market survey, and these are the various questions that we have asked to validate our assumptions and to see if there is actually a use of our system or not. And we are very much enthusiastic about the results that we have found over there. That people actually do need to have a requirement for these kind of systems. Our competition are FratMart and Campus Gully. So FratMart is currently not operational. They have been shut down for nearly 1 year. They were operational from 2015 to 2016, but due to lack of funds, they have been shut down. And Campus Gully, they are not into operation. They haven't developed any platform for the past 6 months or so. And I'm talking to this from there, and they're not operational right now. Apart from this, our major differentiator is that we are supporting the systems that currently none of our competition or addresses. One major point that I wanted to address over here is that Amazon and Facebook are trying to get into the hyper-local market, but nothing substantial has come out of it as of now. These are our accomplishments. We have got EIR Fellowship, Startup India Recognition, SIIC Incubation, and being just 2 or 3 months old company, I think there's a very enthusiastic and a very positive looking sign for our venture. There's a team that is leading the venture. My name is Akshat and he is Guru Kumar. We are alumni of IIT Kanpur. We are also guided by Professor B.V. Fani sir and Professor Vinay P. Nambu sir from CSC IIT Kanpur. What are our requirements from this? So we need mentorship in the areas especially tech, operations, strategy, and marketing. Apart from that, we need funding, angel or seed of nearly $200,000. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.
I have to confess, I don't know similar solutions in India, but coming from the US, things like Craigslist and there's some new apps that have come out. Got Junk is an interesting app where you take a picture of an article and it's called a neighborhood watch list. So it's a neighborhood list where all the people in this certain geographical area have access to that app, and then you post that whatever picture you put, and then people can come and bid and purchase it. Those kind of solutions are available in the West. Have you tried to look at what they have over there versus what you might be able to use here?
Precisely, sir. West already have these kind of solutions available over here, and we are still lagging behind the basic technological advancements that has already been done, that has already been established in the West. We are just trying to get that technology into our Indian market and use it to our advantage. Because this technology is already proven. It's just a matter of time who does it first. It's just a matter of time and speed.
You mentioned you need technology mentorship. Does that mean that you don't have a solution yet, or?
So we do have a solution. But given that we get a mentorship support from you all, we'll drastically reduce our experimentation time and give the product in a very limited time frame to our customers.
What stage are you right now?
So we have currently passed the ideation phase. We have already pushed our MVP, and we are currently tracking its results over a period of time. But since we have been active only from 2 months, so it's still very early to say that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great, clear presentation asking for money. I think this is how I see it. So let's move on to the next company we have. This is Off-Grid Energy Labs, represented by Tejas Kushokar and Tejas Kumar. Audience poll is still on. Please check it out.
I'm Tejas, and so Off-Grid Energy Labs is a technology company. Sorry. Hello. Yeah. So Off-Grid Energy Labs, we want to be a technology company in EV space. So our vision is to lead in innovation and development of energy storage systems, which can ultimately disrupt the EV ecosystem. So at present we have started with, so you all are aware of this current system of petrol pumps. Like different OEM make vehicles, petrol pump is common, and petrol is common for all. And once they drain, they go to petrol pump and refuel. So imagine we have, so at present we have, so imagine a scenario where the existing infrastructure remains same and it is replaced by a battery swapping ecosystem where there is standard battery pack for two-wheelers. These companies, OEMs, are good at making two-wheelers. So they keep on making two-wheelers. We have standardized the battery pack which could fit multiple two-wheelers, and once they drain their batteries, they will come to a swapping station, just like a petrol pump. They will replace the drained batteries with the charged ones, and they will pay for their charge, and pay per charge. So in this case, it saves time and eventually operational cost as well. So at present, there are two models in electric two-wheelers. First model is a charging-based model, which we are all aware of. When the batteries are drained, you go home and charge them. In this process, it takes huge time, first of all. And second thing is, after a while, you have to replace this battery because battery life is very short. And the battery cost is pretty high. It's 30 to 40% of the cost of that entire vehicle. So this cost has to be borne by the customer. And second thing is, since the battery is a ever differentiating cost, the resale value of electric vehicles is too low. Then the second model there is in Taiwan. So Taiwan battery swapping model is already there, but they have their own vehicles. So the battery pack is not standardized. So the swappable battery pack only fits their own vehicles. So this is successfully run in Taiwan. So what we are doing is we are focusing emerging markets like India, South Asia, South Africa, Thailand. So in this market, we have to consider 2 points. One is it should be affordable, and it should be consumer convenience should be there. Otherwise, there is no market. So how we are different from these two models? First is we have made our standardized battery pack future proof, which I will show you in coming slides. And these are standardized swappable battery packs. They are not at present in this market. Second, we have optimal charging. We are able to increase battery life so that we can generate value for a longer period of time. The third point is we can reuse. There is a resale value for lithium-ion batteries. Once, because battery pack life, the life of battery, electric vehicle battery is considered as up to 80%. So once they start performing up to 80% instead of 100, the battery life is good. So after it reaches that level, there is a resale value. So we have figured it out how to efficiently use those batteries in long term. Then second green on green approach is we are trying to use solar power for this charging station so that it's a green on green approach. At present, electric vehicles are being charged with electricity from coal. It's not really green. And the fifth point is mostly where we are focusing on. The fifth point is we all know electric vehicle is future, and Modi has also told about it. By 2030, everything should be electric. Because the main reason is India is paying $70 billion as an import for oil, and that money would be 30% electric vehicles. So, but the point is, even after that, if we are still, we don't have lithium, we don't have cobalt, we don't have lithium. So even if oil is replaced, it will be replaced by lithium or cobalt or lithium. But we are targeting that. So when I say we are going to be a technology company, what it means is we are trying to substitute lithium-ion itself. So what are those sustainable, indigenous technologies by which we can entirely disrupt this battery ecosystem? So that's where the focus is. So we are working on carbon-based capacities, which should be incorporated eventually in the. Now the benefits at consumer rate are faster refueling, few upgrades to new technologies, because ultimately by 2030 when say the entire mobility should be electric, there won't be lithium. So consumer has to be evolved free of cost, upgraded free of cost. So we have taken care of that. Second is of course the higher resale value once the depreciation of battery is taken care of, because we will be replacing battery for consumers for free, so that resale value on vehicle ultimately increases. Overall operational cost is lower, and there is no range anxiety. So in electric vehicles, there is always a range anxiety that if you run out of fuel on the road, it takes almost 3 to 4 hours to charge. So in this case, when we have the exact same ecosystem as petrol pumps, this anxiety won't be there. Then we want to have distribution partners on the ROI of 50 to 80% for swapping stations. And of course, there is a benefit for OEM that once you sell your vehicle, you can be in touch with the consumers. Of course, and when we will be generating data from IIT and there are numerous applications for analytics. So two-wheeler market is index. I mean, India is the undisputed king. 17.7 million two-wheelers were sold in 2016, and like I said, by 2030, everything is going to be electric. So at present, these three companies are selling their vehicles. There are multiple companies, but these three are the major players in electric two-wheeler segment. Ather hasn't launched yet, but in this field they are planning to. So I would say them as potential partners rather than competitors, because we are not never going to make a vehicle. We want to make those standardized battery packs and supply the standard battery packs to these OEMs, and then maintain this value distribution partners. Now this is a little bit of our design. It is being filed. Designs are being filed as we speak. So there will be security protocols here, so that anti-theft, and this will be IoT enabled, so that we generate data on the system. So when I say that it is future-proof, that means the ultimately world is moving this space. Today, lithium-ion cells used in even Tesla are 18650. Now they'll move to 2170 cells in a few years, and eventually to supercapacitors maybe. So our battery pack is designed for that. So it can accommodate these future modifications as well. And at present we are working on 1860 cells lithium-ion, and ultimately we are planning to have we are planning to also evolve to supercapacitor. This is the energy pump, which will be there on the distribution side. So this is upgradable. Initially, when the volumes are low, distribution can start from here and upgrade to this. Connected infrastructure, there will be a user app which will connect to e-pumps and battery packs to everything, and possibilities are numerous. So we have pitched this idea to Anandan. He has shown feeling interest. He has put us in touch with a couple of people, and we look forward to doing it. Then we have started initially interacting with OEMs, and they have liked this idea. They have created then at present we are developing prototypes. We want to run it in IIT Kanpur this first our project. And at present we are looking at 2 crore funding, mostly for R&D on supercapacitors, because that is the disruptive technology, and prototyping of course. So this prototyping is the outcome, but we want to move towards disruptive technology for lithium-ion. Of course, we are thinking of a finance model as well, where we need funding to bring ultimately the final cost of the vehicle down. So we will maintain there, and they will support us. This is the team. Me and my co-founder did PhD from ITK. Rushi is a global Microsoft ex-leader, so he is helping us in developing business plan. Ankur is CA. He's helping us with the legal and finance plans. Thanks. Questions?
Great presentation. This is the kind of stuff I like. So you really have 3 products here. You have the app, and you have the charging station, and then you have the actual battery. Starting with the battery, what stage are you at the battery?
At present, everything is on paper, but we will be having prototypes in this month. All the infrastructure is available here at IIT for prototyping. So this is
what you haven't tested, obviously it doesn't sound like you have to test it in that.
But on cells we have done some experiments.
At single setup.
So single setup, but not as a pack.
And as far as the other infrastructure is concerned, so this was something that Ashok Jhunjhunwala is very interested in. You know about Ashok Jhunjhunwala?
Yeah, I met him twice, and he liked it. He suggested 3 modifications.
Okay, so you have to talk to him. But this is exactly the same thing you were talking about 6 months ago.
Yeah. But he was mostly focused on 3-wheelers and electric buses. Yeah. And we are focused on electric 2-wheelers.
Great, thank you.
in government, it is a lot. The government is already working on 3-wheelers and buses, and the treaty has already completed this work. So government is pretty slow. We have a business model because it's profit for everyone. Consumers get benefited, and we can start with a small city. Yeah. Yeah, because at present the model which they are following, charging-based model, consumers are not buying that. So they are trying to modify their entire system so that the sale value they sell is maximized. And this is the way they see there is value.
Adding to his question, do you as a company or individuals have a clout to influence those manufacturers and government? That's the question. To use your standardized model.
Yeah. Based on our models, we are able to generate interest and start executing that. So we'll be targeting a setting initially. Then if the model works, we'll be expanding. So that's it. Okay, thanks.
So thanks, Tejas. Next in line we have Oxen Farm Solutions by Vishnuji. Judges, please note there is in your sheet there is another company which has to be added named Bliss. Okay. This is the 12th company. Bliss, B-L-I-S-S. So over to Vishnuji.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vishwajit. I am the founder and CEO of Option Farm Solutions. Quick background on me: I graduated from IIT Kanpur in 2005. I have about 11-12 years of experience now. And two highlights: when I was part of the success story of a company called Desai Fruits and Vegetables, which was the largest horticulture exports company, and I was part of the turnaround management team that created that company and transformed it into its current being. The company was sold off to Deepak Fertilizers about 4 years ago. Apart from that, for 5 years I worked for German government. So there was this company called GIZ, which is a German government agency. With them I worked in different senior roles, working in renewable energy, rural development context, in larger grid context, and also agriculture innovation. So my last project with GIZ was on value chain innovations, which was across 8 different states, and that is where I realized that there is a big wave now that is happening in the rural areas in India. So very quick introduction to my company. We work in AgTech. We have already raised a seed fund. We have different angel investors and come to the list later on. We are already at the revenue stage. I would say in terms of team size, we are about 25 people now. We just expanded last week. And we have already touched lives of 5,000 farmers in last 2 months. I'll give you a very quick background on farming. So if you look at how farming happens right from sowing to harvesting, there are 2 waves that come in any country. The first wave comes when the land preparation, जो हम हल जोतना बोलते हैं, that is what gets mechanized. There is a second wave that comes, which happens when labor scarcity is there. So the first wave happens when tractor is available. That is what we see right now. India is the largest tractors market in the world. Out of 12 lakh tractors that is sold worldwide, 6 lakh tractors are sold in India every year. So it's a huge market there. Of course, we have Mahindras of the world that dominate that market. But there is a second wave that is in progress, and that happens when there is labor scarcity in any country. The question is whether the labor scarcity is happening in India already or not. If you look at labor wages data, if you look at last 20 years data, and I have picked up Maharashtra because Manrega was there when it was not there nationally. The initial 10 years, it was taking 15 years for the labor wage to double. But for last 10 years, it is taking only 5 years for the labor wage to double. So there's a big labor mass exodus that has happened from the Indian farmer. So currently, the farmer has big challenges. And when we talk about labor scarcity, there are different opportunities that arise for a startup like us. So what we did was we took labor scarcity, we took different crops, we tried to categorize it, we did an analysis. And what we realized is that there are different categories we can actually get. So on the x-axis, there are different farm operations. You have sowing, you have harvesting, you have land preparation. On the y-axis, you have different kinds of crops. So you have orchards, you have field crops like rice, wheat, you have potatoes, tomatoes, which have a different field architecture. And these are the green ones are the ones that you see on your screen are the opportunities that we identified. So, for example, we love combined harvesters, we love root crops like potatoes, we love onions because it grows below the ground. Lot of labor required. If you are harvesting 1 acre of wheat, you spend 1,500 rupees acre. If you are harvesting 1 acre of potatoes, you spend 6,000 rupees an acre. So there's a big amount of labor required when you talk about root crops. There are crops that are becoming now important. Maize 10 years ago was a crop of no importance in India. But today, because we are eating more chicken and 50% of maize goes to poultry feed, that is why maize has become a very important crop now. And Punjabis are not there leading the way. The green revolution states are not leading the way there. If you look at maize, Andhra, Karnataka, Bihar, those are the states that are now leading the way. So those are becoming more important when it comes to mechanization. Out of all these opportunities, of course, being a startup, we can't work with all these opportunities, right? We have to start somewhere. Dreams are big, but we start small, we go deep and then we expand. So we built up harvesting. And we love harvesting of food grains because food grains account for most of the production area. If I take harvesting as an operation, it is very labor intensive. It's very time sensitive. आपका खेत पर भी आप 7 दिन से ज़्यादा wait नहीं कर सकते. If you take combined harvesters, the machine that we work with, they can harvest 7-8 different kinds of crops. And if we keep moving, keep changing geographies, actually a single harvester can get 8 months around the year of demand. So actually, ये जो हमारे दिमाग में है कि 2 महीने का काम होता है खेती, बाकी दिन कंपनी क्या करेगी? Actually, this machine, if you keep shifting it, and shifting is very easy. It travels at 25 km per hour. Punjabis take it 2,000 kilometers every year across India. So you can get demand across 8 months from this single machine. And the best part is, सबसे बड़ा problem क्या होता है startup का? If you are in rural India, भैया monsoon का क्या करोगे? When the year is bad, the monsoon is bad. The second question is payment का क्या करोगे? किसान से payment कैसे लोगे? So this business is again very beautiful in that sense because you are harvesting, the payment of the farmer is nearest. So you get the payment from the farmer. Much higher chances of getting it. Second thing is, if I am harvesting, I can always see the crop. So right now, I know कि wheat की sowing 20% कम हुई है इस बार. मध्य प्रदेश में कम हुई है, but गुजरात में ज़्यादा हुई है. So I always know कि monsoon की situation कैसी रही है and how it has affected the crop and how it has affected the crop health. So I always can choose my geographies very wisely. Now, ये जो सारे facts हैं, if I combine all these 3 facts, the fact is, using combined harvesters for 8 months, I can get a desperate farmer who is ready to pay me cash money, which is a great business to be in. So what is different that we are doing? So we are, of course, working in the regular combined harvesters, which are the tier one. This business has again been old, but there are new demands opening up thanks to Manrega and the labor scarcity that is happening. The second thing is, if you look at Odisha, West Bengal, these are places which always had access to very cheap labor, but it is no longer available. So there we have these kind of harvesters which run on a track type of, so they are better for wet fields. So that is the emerging market where we are going to be. And why farmer benefits? What's the value proposition to the customer? His labor costs go down by almost 40-50%. So उसको बेचना नहीं पड़ता, उसको बस बताना भाई we will deliver it to you, we deliver it very very fast. तुमको 12 लेबर लगते 2 दिन लग, हम तुमको वो सारा माल जो है तुरंत 1 घंटे में हार्वेस्ट करके देंगे. Third thing is wastage reduction. जब आपका लेबर काटता है, multiple times the crop is harvested, is handled. So the wastage is almost 10 to 15%. If you are doing it with harvester, you get a direct delivery of grains to your field. So the wastage is also less. If I reduce the wastage that is happening on the field just by 5%, harvesting is practically free because that is the value of harvesting compared to the overall crop value. And farmer को ये 20 लाख रुपए की मशीन नहीं खरीदी. He just has to pay for it. So it's a very beautiful pay for use model that we are doing into the quantity of farmer. The farmer that you see is a farmer from Chhattisgarh. These machines seem huge, but they can actually harvest 0.1 acre field also. So this farmer is of 0.5 acre, and he has basically given us about 700 to 800 rupees only for his acre. And we get almost all of that money into our bank accounts in 15 days. So अभी हमने जो 1.25 crore का revenue किया था, we did it by, I would say the last harvesting we did was 15th of December, and by 25th of December, all of that cash was already in our bank account. So ultimately, भाई मैं यहाँ पे क्या करूँ? 25 साल से पंजाबी तो ये business कर ही रहे हैं. Why me and why we are doing this now? The reason is in last 5 years, the internet penetration and technology availability has been so beautiful, even in rural areas, that actually we can do all the route optimization problem. This market is going to be disrupted because of two major reasons. One is on supply side of harvesters, climate change के कारण सारे routes change हो रहे हैं. On demand side, what is happening is there is so much of internet penetration that actually we can now work directly with the farmers and create a platform. So हम लोग 3 problems कर रहे हैं. एक तो market search, second is pilferage, third is scheduling. The way we are doing it is with technology platform. On one end, there would be combined harvester people, and we are not having an asset-heavy model, it's an asset-light model because we are sourcing it from existing customers, working with our platform. And on the other end, there would be vendor, aggregator, and farmers. We are talking about the technology platform. What are the key components? When we are doing satellite imagery analysis, we are looking at a patch of 20 km by 10 km patch. हम लोगों ने एक harvester के लिए index बनाया है. When you click on that map, you get to know how the ripening is going on, which are the places which are already harvested. The second thing that we are doing is we are sending the harvesters to the right planet. So we are sending it to places where there is less rain and more dry places. The other thing that we are doing is to stop the pilferage part. We track on the GPS location. We have an algorithm because when you are measuring your car traveling, measuring kilometers with GPS location is always very easy, but it's not so easy if you have GPS locations on a farm. So this is again a real life example. We measure these maps using an algorithm which gives us accurately how many acres have been harvested. So we don't need people to do that. Third thing is we are saving on the farm data, and that is where really cream of the business lies. So we say that we harvest two things. We harvest field and we harvest data. So people actually put in money to harvest data, but we earn money by harvesting data. That is the other interesting thing that we are doing. So we are building mobile applications already. Our first mobile application will be, which is doing a very simple thing. What it simply does is, in local language, it tells you आपका क्षेत्र कितना बड़ा है. So अपना किसान accurately जान सकता है कि मेरा क्षेत्र कितना बड़ा है. That is the first thing we are launching. We are slowly progressing with that app towards the Uber of farm mechanization, goal of farm mechanization. Airbnb, we have written Airbnb here because culture-wise, I believe we are closer to that. Market is about $1 billion if we take just 4 states. That's our scale-up plan. So we are starting right now 12 harvesters. We plan to be about 1,800 combined harvesters. We always think that it will be also be creating a new pool of combined harvester owners that will move forward. Team-wise, you heard me. As I said, धंधे की दो other things are, ये धंधा है, you bring in the machines on the platform, which Riku does with his ability, and you bring payment from the farmers, which Manu Sharma is doing. We are getting traction. I talked about 1.1 crore rupees revenue that we already crossed in last 4 months. We already crossed 8,000 acres, so the reaction has been great from the market. We have some great angel investors that are supporting us. And we are working with good companies, and we are building partnerships at the right places. We worked with Pranab Mukherjee Foundation when he was president. He gave us this project. We also worked with him. Helps us great when we are pitching the business to the farmers. And what do we need? We just opened our round, Series A round. We are raising now to build the technology and take it to the next level and expand to new markets. That is what we need. We need a lot of networks definitely, and I believe we have great angels here, and we will also get connected to a few VCs in the coming months and coming weeks. That's what we need right now. And my in general request was that we are building a great and expanding our technical team. If you think you are passionate about agriculture and you want to bring a lot of innovation into agriculture, you are most welcome to contact me. My details are here on this slide. Thank you.
Basically, quick question. How much of what's the revenue sharing with the equipment owner?
Right now, the equipment owner, there are 2 models. So out of 12 harvesters, 10 harvesters, we lease it in from him. And we earn by the extra capacity utilization of the machine. For 2 harvesters, we already are now in an aggregator model wherein the profits are split 80%, 20%.
Vishwajit, excellent solutioning that you have come up with. I was speaking with Vinayak, and I think he had we were generally chatting, and one question that kind of came up was that looks like in equipment there is a friction in sharing that equipment with everyone in that community, right? So number one question is that a problem that you also see, and how to kind of mitigate through that?
Yeah. So usually when the equipment is owned by a cooperative, there is always a big friction happening. the way we do is, if you go to a village, if the size is of about say 2000 people, you will have 3 or 4 mohallas. Each mohalla will have a different caste there. What we do is, out of these 3-4 mohallas, each of mohalla we find an agent. What that agent does is he aggregates the demand for us. So he charges us 10%. He brings the orders and payments to us. So he has that, hold on that cultivated area about these things. That is how it is.
Thank you for this presentation, it was great. One quick question. So, like the machines that you're providing to these farmers, and in terms of the, like, where have you positioned them? So you're catering from one machine to multiple villages or geographies. How do you solve that?
See, the essence of this business is route. So typically, if we work out the numbers, I reach a village, I work for 20 days for about 200 to 300 acres. In those 20 days, the machine is positioned in that village and the agent takes care of it where it is placed. Then I have to jump 60 kilometers where the same crop would be harvested for about the harvesting would be starting. Again stay there 20 days. Take another jump of 60 kilometers, again stay there for 20 days. And then you have to take a long haul of about 120 kilometers. And after just 2 more stops, it's a long haul of 500 kilometers where another crop starts to harvest. So broadly, this is the variation of different crops.
Let's discuss this offline, man. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. This is the last presentation. So we have the last presentation of SMC Select. So the next presentation in line is Bliss. This is represented by Shidish. So judges, please update the last company, Bliss. Hello.
So, a very good afternoon to everyone. So, we are a bunch of undergrads from IIT Kanpur in our final year who are working to make meditation easy and accessible for all. So, meditation is one thing which we all know of. We already have people in our inner circle who meditate, some who have tried and were not punctual enough. And so, coming to the problem, the overlooked problem of 21st century is stress. It's the elephant in the room which no one of us is discussing. We already have been aware about how it is necessary to be fit, and we have a healthy mind resides in a healthy body is one thing which has been preached to us since our childhood. But no one has taught us, whether in school or college, how to take care of our mental well-being. Now we are healthy, but our mind is not. So, stress is increasing at the alarming level with that digital advent as well. And there is lack of awareness among all Gen Y, millennials, or even people of my father's age. And in future, the problem is going to be worse and will result in a weaker society and nation. Because if a person is calm and has got what he needs, the world and more society would be more blissful. Now, the rise of alternate medication. Dhyan and meditation in yoga is something which we have through our culture, and but has not been preached as I mentioned before. Has been validation by science from studies from Harvard Medical School, University of College London, and across doctors have also started recommending it to their patients for diabetes or chronic health. Now, our vision. So this is our product. We launched it a week ago. We have 100+ users now. And what we are doing is, it's a meditation app which has chants, music, as well as guided meditations. We have content curators whom we have got in touch with. We have royalty-free music, as well as open source music on our platform. So the other thing which we are focusing on is to build a social network around this. So if I present you the picture of IIT Kanpur, we have on board with us Vivekanand Samiti, Art of Living chapter of IIT Kanpur, Happiness Club, as well as Bhakti Vedanta. So these all 4 have been using various ways to manage stress. Some were slightly inclined to a religious aspect, some were to the intellectual aspect of it. And plus, with the skill being preached, and there will be chances of employment also in this sector. Now coming. So why we pick meditation of all the three things? So these things, wellness, spirituality, and healthcare are one of the most essential aspects. And meditation is one thing which is easiest to do in today's tech world, where the two things which matter most to us is time and travel. So, and we have solved, this can be solved with just a phone and a piece of earphones or headphones. Now, this is us. So, this is our past record. We were the winner of various deep plan competitions, hackathons. We spent our summer at Mumbai's India Quotient and finished in top 5 in pitch to investors. And we were also winner of the Samsung Innovation Award. So right now we have resources to take us till May, June. We have AWS credits as well as cash to burn to get to users and initial doctors as well as trainers. So I'll request you all, because you are our customers, to at least give it a try. We have already circulated the card and many of you would already know our names. To give it a try and let us know our feedback. We are there only. Apart from that, as we told, we are focusing on two aspects. That is building community, which we have already started in IIT. And the second was the coaching and competitive exams, which we are targeting. So we have already talked to coachings in Kanpur, and we'll be pitching them, going to students and pitching them this. The third most aspect is corporate wellness. This is where judges come into picture to help us connect with the organizations who can take it as an HR practice or who are excited about it in your circle or in your extended circle. So that's all from my side. Please give it a try, and we are around. Let us know what you feel about the product. Thanks. Chandra, question.
And invite one of the very eminent guests here at SMC, Mr. Reddy. He is a chairman at NASCOM and founder at SIAM, a Padma Shri awardee. Mr. Reddy is the founder and executive chairman at SIAM, chairman at NASCOM, and the chairman of the board of the governors at IIT Hyderabad. He founded SIAM in 1991 with the goal of providing engineering services to the global markets, with key customers including Boeing, Airbus, and Siemens. He is also credited with pioneering of the CAD/CAM culture in India, introducing computer systems for design and manufacturing applications back in 1982. So let me invite Mr. B.V.R. Reddy. So audience poll, please do vote, and we'll be closing the poll right now in next 2 minutes.
Good afternoon to all of you. My name is Mohan Reddy. I'm not too sure whether my name got right, but I get to speak to you on a Sunday afternoon. I live in the city of Hyderabad. The motivation for me to come here, to come spend time with you for the day, is primarily to be with all of you. I like to see this nation to be the #1 nation in startups, and that's the reason I'm here to talk to you on how we build a company which can be a global organization and what you need to scale an organization to become global. This doesn't work, I believe, so we still have some glitches. Technology, let's see, how does it work now? Yes. No, this doesn't work. Okay, let's see, this works. Yeah, this works. I got one more now. Okay, so that's actually, let's see. We're all taking part. Right, thank you. So, okay. So anyway, so what do I do in my life? What does my company do, or the company that I founded does? Is basically a company which does design, build, operate, maintain. Two things it does, both products as well as networks. And over a period of last 26 years, it transpired to be a partner for global industry leaders, as some of our customers' names have already been mentioned. So therefore, what is the service offering we have in the company is that, number one, as I said, we design products, we design subsystems, we design solutions to customers around the world. We certainly also help our customers in making sure that not only we design for them, but we build for them. So we manufacture some of the electronic subsystems that are being designed by us. And after that, especially in the area that we work, which is to do with, I will tell you a little more about it, in some of the areas where the product life cycles are fairly large, we also maintain them for them, which is basically more of aftermarket engineering services, as they're called. And as technology progresses, some of these products have become extremely digital. So therefore, there is a fairly large amount of content that is getting created as these products' life cycle continues for the digital data to help us in redesigning the product's packaging. So that's what my company does. And so, what are the key services that we have? Product engineering, process engineering, network operations, design, manufacturing, and geospatial services. My intent is not to sell my company to you guys. My intent is to just give you a few data points to tell you the story as you move forward from this stage. Bear with me for a few more minutes. So what are the industries that we operate in? About 7 different verticals. Aerospace is our largest vertical. Communications is the second largest vertical, I believe. Then comes utilities. We also work in rail transportation, energy, geospatial, industrial, and our smallest vertical, but I think the most important vertical that we have now with us is medical and health. In 26 years, company has done well. 26 years back, I started this company in my modest home on my dining table with 4 engineers. That's where the story started. Currently, we have getting close to 15,000 engineers in the company. This year, I believe these numbers, $538 million is last year's numbers. This year, Control Tower showed me yesterday that we should be somewhere between $610 to $620 million of revenue. We will have an operating margin which will be a 3-digit number, $100 million of operating margin this year. And our markets are all around the world. We service North America, Middle East, Europe rather, and Asia Pacific. Roughly, to give you a flavor, 58% of our revenue comes from North America, half of that, 29%, comes from Europe, half of that, 14%, comes from Asia Pacific. It doesn't add up to 100, the rest of it comes from India. So you can understand how small a presence we have in the Indian market space. But truly we have global clients. You can see the list of names that we have. This is all public domain information. In aerospace, we have Boeing, we have Airbus, We have UTC, which is basically manufacturers Pratt & Whitney, or in communications, whether it is AT&T, British Telecom, Cox, or it is Swisscom, or say so is the case with, for instance, rail transportation, whether it's Alstom, Bombardier, or it is Siemens, Thales, name the best of the companies in the world. And we feel very proud in saying they're our customers. And so therefore, over a period of last 26 years, we certainly built a company which brought in global clients. So the question now is, how did it happen? So the formation of this company in 1991, that's the inception. The company got rebranded as Sign in the last 3 years. Otherwise, we were called as Infotech Enterprises Limited. That's how it was in 1991. Where did I start? I started like many of you. 25 lakhs was my equity, 20 lakhs of my personal money, and 2 friends of mine, 2 NRIs. One was friend, the other was a relative, gave me 2 $10,000 checks. At that point of time, the dollar to rupee was 25 rupees. That's how they got 2.5 lakhs it was. So with 25 lakhs of equity, I went and borrowed about 97 lakhs of money from IDBI, venture capital. So the project cost was considered to be 122 lakhs. So I wouldn't have that deep pockets to go and put my presence up anywhere outside India. So I started with the model which said, look, we'll have partners around the world. They would do the sales and marketing, whereas I would do the back end from them. That's how the whole story started off. But 1999, we realized that's not the model that will work. Primarily because they were the ambitions, the objectives, the goals of partners could be far different. We were running much faster than any of the partners we choose at that point of time. So therefore, we decided that we will go the direct route, and the direct route had tremendous amount of advantage. By being local, we certainly thought, we will be in a position to get closer to the customer. And if we get closer to the customer, because of the interaction that we would have with the customer, we would increase the customer satisfaction. We'll also see tremendous amount of traction with the customers. And equally important is we would move up the value chain with the customers as we had local presence. So we took the gamble and did several things in 1999. One is that we went ahead and incorporated a company in the United States. It was called Infotech Enterprise. We couldn't get that name called Infotech Enterprise. It was called ISS, Infotech Software Solutions Incorporated. We also did, with the money that we made in those first 8 years of our existence, we went and bought 2 companies simultaneously, 2 small companies. One in London, which was called DataView Solutions, and the other one was called in Germany, to be more precise, in Stuttgart, Germany, and the company was called AGS, Advanced Graphic Systems, that was the name of the company. So therefore, the first move we made was that we took that gamble and made our first move into the global markets. So what's the lesson for all of you? Entrepreneurs take risks, but entrepreneurs take prudent risks. Make sure that, so we waited for 8 years before we made that big move in terms of making that investment, of going and acquiring companies. But thereafter, from 1999, we progressively made every strong step forward to make sure truly we are a global company. Because our belief was that we'll come to our service offering a little further down, is that service offerings were for global customers. If you had global customers, you have to have a global outlook. You need to have a global culture. You need to have a global workforce. You need to have global investors. So therefore, I think our mindset completely changed by 2006, which said we also need to have global shareholders. So we took the company public in 1999. That's the money with which we went and bought those 2 companies, all right. But then, more importantly, by 2006, we had a complete transformation where we have employees, which we call them associates, investors, customers, everything turned out to be global. So how did we achieve this further is that we got closer to the customer, that's the global footprint. Where are we today? We operate in 48 locations across the world in 21 countries as we speak. We have 300 clients who are active customers. We'll give you the profile of those customers a little while from now, with more than about they're closer to 15,000 people. Here is the profile. Truly, I'm sure several people are getting very concerned about Mr. Trump, and very honestly, I don't get concerned about them. For the simple reason, you look at the profile of my company, 1,700 employees in US. 82% of our employees in US are locals. There's just 18%. Whichever way Trump does his math, I would not be under visa-dependent company norm. Globally, at this point of time, we have 70% of our people, we have 2,900 of our employees are outside India. Out of that, 70% of them are locals. So therefore, the second message I have is, if you truly want to build a global company, you need to have local presence and the local workforce. And local workforce will do a lot of good to you. I'll tell you more about that. Where is our senior leadership? You see 15 faces around in this particular chart. This is called the L1 leadership. Starts off with my CEO, a young man called Krishna Bodnapu, and the rest of the team. Out of the 15 of them, 5 of them are foreign nationals. You can see Tom Edwards, John Renard, Brian White, Suman Narayan, and Katie Crow. Suman is a second generation Indian, all right, but he's a US citizen. So 5 out of the 15, 30% of your leadership team. This is my board of directors. Truly global again. How many of them? 9 of them. How many of them are foreign nationals? Start with Andrea Beers, we have John Patterson, and Alan Ditete, and finally Ambassador Vinay Tumalapalli. He was US Ambassador to Belize under Mr. Obama's presidential term. 4 out of 9 directors are foreigners. And that too, there are 2 Americans, Andrea Beers and Vinay Tumalapalli, whereas Alan is a Belgian national, lives in Ghent, and John Patterson is a British national, all right, but lives in Singapore. So truly, if you want to build a global company, you also need to have global leadership and a global board too. Finally, you need to have global investors. Here is the profile of the investors. As we speak, I believe there's one more change that happened last few days, but roughly this is it. We have got 36% of the ownership today of the company with foreign FIIs. So truly we could call ourselves to be a global company. But how did we get to that globalization? Here are some pointers for you. The first and foremost, like any other startup I keep talking about, please, and I'm sure we looked at some of the startups which made pitches just now, is look for a problem which is a real problem. I spend a lot of my time with lots of startups. I go and spend a week with people. I was in Ahmedabad, obviously you could guess that I was at IIT. I met with entrepreneurs. And I keep telling them, don't imagine a problem for yourself. Please go get a true problem that exists. That's one. So that's what we did. There was an existential problem, which was there was a need for providing low-cost engineering services. B, you need to find a solution to the problem. What's the solution? The solution was a global delivery model. You cannot deliver engineering sitting in India. It's not back office, it's not a call center. It had to be designing of aircraft engines. It was designing subsystems in a fuselage of an aircraft like DPCU, bus power control unit. It can never be done sitting back in India. So we can definitely have a solution which certainly can solve the problem. And the third one is that it also requires a lot of domain knowledge. It's again, domain is very important because you need to, when you're providing an engineering solution, you have to have that domain as a key strength to provide a solution to your customer. The other thing that I talk about is that you need to have a business model which is long term. Our business model, we keep calling it as businesses, all of you have to think about, have to be A, profitable, B, it has to be sustainable, C, it has to be predictable, and D, it has to be de-risked. No business, please don't feel shy about telling anybody that your business is not profitable or it's very profitable. Neither of the two things are extremes are acceptable. But what is important is, no business can survive without profits. So therefore, please make sure, if you're talking about a business proposition, you're making a pitch about your business, it has to be a business which is profitable. And it has to be sustainable. I service my street, and you know what happens thereafter. People are sick of trying out food from various restaurants. You serve to them. You say that's a food tech business. But I believe that that once that particular street is full of people who all the time do the food tech delivery itself, then where is the business? Where is the market for you? So look at a market which is sustainable. Look at the model that we have. Will engineering disappear? Will design disappear? It won't. It will sustain forever. So long as human beings are there, they require products. Products require design. So they require a service offering from you. Or the third one is that business has also to be predictable. Again, you look at the service offering that we have, is that engineering design today, even in the times that we live, you can't guess this, but I'll help you guessing it. An aircraft engine takes 8 years to design, a greenfield aircraft engine. So if you start a design work for an aircraft engine manufacturer, you're done for 8 years. We had 250 people on a particular project at least at any point of time for 8 continuous years, designing a brand new aircraft engine called GTF, Jet Turbofan engine. If you're flying an Airbus 320, the aircraft that Indigo has now, they're called the 320 Neos, the aircraft engine. 25% of that engine was designed by Indian engineers out of Hyderabad and Bangalore. So you have to have a business model that says, I have predictability. And the other one is, nothing is guaranteed in life. So therefore, you have to de-risk your business. How do you de-risk your business? You need to have multiple geographies, multiple service offerings, and make sure, therefore, even if one disappears, multiple verticals that we work with. Next one. Certainly, if you say, I do the same thing as my neighbor does, you're no different from them. So, not only that, the other thing that we also keep saying is that you cannot be saying that I'm different from others with one service offering. And then you cannot, because somebody else will be the same as you are. So you have to have an ability to constantly make sure that you have a differentiator. That is how we brought in this thing called the Science 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. The first phase that we had, which was more of mapping and digitization of services. Truly, we became an engineering service company with 2.0. We definitely made sure it became a world-class engineering company. But now, what we are trying to do is, we showed you what it is, that it's just not engineering, but it also has design, build, and maintain strategy that we've done. And I'll spend a little more time as we move forward. Our scalability was what is called as the PPT model. To me, people make the difference. Our associates, we don't call them employees, we call them associates. They're an important part of our life. Equally important is the customer. And then the final one, pitch to somebody, make sure that you have an idea, and a solution, an addressable market. You certainly make sure it's distinctly different from anybody else's, and then tell them how you scale your business. Make sure that you also have a strategy for how you take care of your people, how you take care of your customers, and how you raise your funds. Here's the operating framework, how you scale the model. The framework was called PPT, very easy to remember. All of us use PowerPoint presentations so extensively. But I keep calling it, it is CPPT. The customer is the center, and then on the three corners of the triangle, you have people, processes, tools, technology, and training. And that is the one which will make sure that you could deliver. This helped us in terms of delivering quality consistently over and over again at an affordable price. So that is the key driver in terms of putting an operating model. And we went to a level through our operating model where our quality certification, we used to say there's not much space in terms of handling the certificates. That's the number of certificates that we have for the company. So you need to make sure, if you want to scale your business, the core to it is that you have to be consistent with what you deliver. In the export market especially, I keep saying there's nothing called second chance. Nobody would ever try you out for the second time. Once you made a mistake, you can give number of excuses for it, but people will only think they are excuses, not genuine stuff. Then he should give you one more chance for. Okay. So what does happen? No. Yeah. So therefore, we did this quality as a major initiative in the company. At one point of time, I used to joke with my people, quality is negotiable in this company. It became a non-negotiable instrument at this point of time. But the second, as a result of it, what I believe is, in the first 15 or 20 years of our existence, quality became a DNA for our company. Whereas now, the transformation is, we're saying, innovation has to be a DNA for the company. We are an engineering services company, but we still have design labs at this point of time. We have a 3D experience lab, an innovation hub, an IoT lab, an ANSYS lab, and so on and so forth. So therefore, today, if you are putting up a proposition together, you also need to think about how will we become more innovative in making sure the new service offerings come by. So one thing that made sure that we, these are various things that we do in innovation, but let me move on to the second one, is proactive customer engagement. Customer to me is God. Customer is the guy who pays your salary. A number of our trainees who come into the company, we ask them this question, who pays the salary to you? Back comes the reply, the company pays the salary to us. No, the company does not pay salary to you. Who pays the salary? The customer pays the salary. If the customer disappears, there's no money in the company. So I think, we are paranoid about our customers. And we measure their satisfaction 3 times over. The first time, we say it's transactional MFA. Every time there's a transaction between us and a customer, there is a feedback that's coming back. But that normally happens to be at an engineer level. But thereafter, the second one is called periodic MFA. Every 3 months, there is manager to manager, there is an evaluation that goes on. That's not enough for us. We then go back to a third party like Gallup, and they do every 1 year. They do a complete survey of our customers. I said 300 active customers. This year, I think 200 of them participated. We had about 1,100 touch points. Touch points would mean there was either a phone call or they had an email contact with them. Compiled together, it takes, thereafter to assimilate information, it takes us 3 months. Thereafter to implement another 3 months, have discussion to rewrite a new questionnaire and go back to the customers 3 more months before the cycle comes back. So to me, the reason why we could scale our business is making sure that we are paranoid about our customer, and that's one big lesson for all of you. What is, as a result of that, 4 of the top heavy equipment manufacturers are our customers. That's at the global level. 3 out of the top 10 aerospace and defense OEMs are our customers, and 2 of the top 10 passenger plane manufacturers are customers. And let's move on. Associate employment or the employee engagement model. The big belief in life for me is that employees make the companies, and as a result of that, they also create the wealth for you. So please be very liberal in making sure that you share wealth with wealth creators. So we have given up about 5% of the company, and it's not a small sum of money. The company's value today is about 7,500 crores. At 7,500 crores, 5% of the company, you can imagine how much money it was. That's the money that's been given out to our employees or our associates. And certainly, I think it becomes important, therefore, to ensure that you constantly measure their satisfaction too. And this is again a periodic 1-year MFA that we keep, ASAT, that we keep doing to ensure that we know what our employees believe in us. So therefore, what are we doing further with our employees? On-demand learning. Learning and development is extremely important. We think companies grow, leadership becomes equally important, and we don't have any more distinction between Indian versus foreigner. Anywhere a position comes up, people can apply. The number of our foreign associates work back in India. So therefore it has to be a seamless one global company. That is how you need to build your companies. but more importantly, the last slide that I have here is what all made this possible is what we keep calling it as values first. I told you the story about the company. 4 engineers becoming 15,000 engineers. No revenues, moved to 4,000 crore revenues. A company which had 25 lakhs of equity, 7,500 crores of market cap today. What else? We have 1,400 crores of cash in the bank. We don't have any debt in the books. So many things change in our lives, including in the lighter vein. I keep saying I lost most of my hair. I had a lot of hair when I started the company. But one thing hasn't changed. Our values haven't changed. Our values remain the same. We keep calling them as the values first. Fairness, respect, integrity, sincerity, and transparency or trust. Those are core values which make companies different. So startup entrepreneurs, youngsters like you, never compromise on your values. We proved the world. We never compromise them, and still we could build a successful, sustainable company, a successful, sustainable global company. So I keep saying, if I do it, everyone else can do it, because I'm no comparable to you. If you take an IQ test in this particular room, I'm sure I'll fare at the bottom of the quartile. The bottommost quartile somewhere I'll figure out. Therefore, you people are much smarter than I am. So therefore, if I can do it, you can do it too. But make sure that some of these constructs that we talked about, you got to make sure you don't make compromises on them. That's what I had for you this morning. I'm more than happy to take a few questions. Yes, sir.
So when you talk about sustained, building a company for sustained run, given the impact of automation in all people-intensive business that we are seeing, right, including software services business, one is that how do you kind of look at that problem? And the second question is that, there are a lot of software services companies which were created like 10, 20, 30 years back. Now, now with the increased focus on automation, if somebody has to kind of look at starting a business in that area, right? How would you even recommend them? And if you recommend them, how would you kind of, how should they kind of go about doing that?
Thank you. Thanks for a good question. So two questions that you asked. One is that with automation coming in, how do you think about sustainability? Certainly, I think the bigger challenge with automation is the amount of number of jobs that are being created at this point in time. Certainly, our objective in life is not for job creation. I'm very clear about it. I never said my objective of creating a company, as a founder of this company, I said I was going to create thousands of jobs. I didn't have an objective every year I had 1,000 more or 2,000 more. My objective in life is very simple, is to create shareholders' value. People trusted me, gave me money. I am a custodian of public wealth is what I keep saying. Therefore, to create that value, I think I will continue to grow this company, sustain this company. And you've seen that happening. And we have seen that happening also at this point of time. At one point of time, there used to be a close correlation between our revenue growth versus our employment growth. But you look at the last 4 years, you'll find the revenues have grown up by about 60 to 70%, whereas our manpower has not grown by about 15% or 18%, somewhere around that number. So therefore, automation, etc. may concern issues relating to manpower, but not in terms of business. The business you can continue to grow for a period of time. The second thing is, you can ask me a question saying that, Mr. Reddy, is it time for us to start an Infosys services company? That's what I meant by Infosys. It comes to my mind all the time when I think about a services company. Honestly, the time is not right for them. Those times were the right times for people to start services companies. At this point of time, I don't think services have a great place. But the way that the technology is accelerating at this point of time, and the opportunities as a result of that are being created, gives you a chance for you to start a company which is more to do with a product. So therefore, my strong recommendation to all my young friends here is services plays of the past. It will probably become, it's still there, I'm not saying it's disappeared totally, but it is not scale. What will scale is that you get a great product idea, put a product in play, platform in play, a framework in play, that's what is going to be the future. We take the next question. Yes, sir.
So, specifically, change that is happening across the world over the last 2 years, a lot of change has happened across the world in terms of globalization, primarily in terms of all countries becoming more and more protectionist. From that standpoint, where do you see Cyient a few years, maybe 10 years down the line, or do you think that it's a short-term phenomenon?
We don't know at this point in time. Your observation is right. There are, I can go on and talk about the various challenges that we have in the global space at this point in time, and one of them is to do with the protectionism that is coming to a few countries around the world. Understandably, there are some reasons why it is happening. We'll not get into that part. But if you look at it from the business perspective, we still think that there's no downside to it because of the type of strategies that we have adopted. For example, we have a fairly strong on-site presence. We'll continue to grow our on-site presence much more rapidly than what we have done in the past. And then we also believe that certain skills are not there in the world, and with those, the domain knowledge that we have will give us an ability to actually go further. If you ask me 5 years or 10 years from now, or maybe I'm not the right guy to answer because I may not be here, maybe here, I don't know. But you ask this question back to a CEO, which he gets challenged all the time. And this young man says that he sees this company to become an OEM supplier. In 5 years, he won't be a services play, won't be there. Services will come down as we move forward. He would say that, look, it's a very tricky problem that we have because we might be competing with some of our customers today. We're also a tier 1 suppliers to OEMs. But it's a very, our belief in life is that that's how the company has to move itself. Because services, cost, etc. will not become the arbitrage. The arbitrage will be if you have a product, that will be the right way of going towards. What are competitors? There are about 3 or 4 different types of competitors that we find. One is people like Infosys, Wipro, HCL, etc. They also have engineering as a service, which competes with us occasionally. There, the big advantage we have in this competition is 2 things. One is that we also go and tell the customer they also offer engineering. Engineering is not their core, whereas people like us, engineering is the core. And we've also gravitated ourselves more towards saying that we'll provide a complete solution as opposed to just provide a service to you. That's one way of looking at it. The second one is there are large-scale MNCs who also have their GICs back here. We call them competitors because you compete for the same people. They recruit the same people, we recruit the same people. They have an advantage, but we don't know. I think the new change that has come in the tax regime with US, I believe, may not be very conducive to the GICs is what we keep hearing, but we allow them to be where they are. Whereas in our space, pure play engineering, there are very few players left behind. There used to be a company called Geometric which got bought by HCL in the recent past. There's one more acquisition we saw prior to that. Or probably who were in engineering, moved away from engineering. KPIT is one company in Pune. They do more of SAP developing. So there are not many companies left behind. And truly, I think competing with us is Quest is one company that we occasionally run into, or frequently run into. But again, strategically, we are positioning ourselves far different from them too. We are a solution provider, and that's how the customers come to us, and that's how even last quarter.
So going forward, you will take their market share in order to increase your revenue and profits. Is this what you're going to say?
No. We are not eating up into their market share. The market is growing. Addressable market is large. That's number one. And profits will come, I think, by making sure that we become more efficient than what we are. Yes, sir. Not the second question. Let's do one round before I come back.
So thank you so much, Mr. Reddy, for the insights. One of the things that you just spoke about was moving to product selection as against services, right? So I work for a company called Target Corporation, part of the innovation strategy team, and manage the Accelerate program. And one of the challenges that we typically look at is the technology volatility or the technology upgradation that happens with regards to products, right? So on one side, we look at sustainability, which can happen if you're catering to the market today. But at the same time, you also talk about innovation that has to happen 5 years from now to cater to that population, keep innovating constantly. Now, from a startup perspective, it becomes very difficult to invest resources and to grow thin on the resources while catering to the market today, and also look at the market 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and even look at that kind of vision. So how do you, what are your views on how to sustain this growth?
See, the answer is very simple. That's why you and me are in existence. Honestly, that's it. You see, if everything was, you build one product and it was just going smoothly, then there's no role for leaders at all. There's no role for strategy as such. So what is happening at this point of time is, unless you start to think about it, we are a services company, but we also have labs right now. Because why is you might ask why are you investing this already? We got into a situation at this point of time where customers at one point of time came to India only because of cost arbitrage. But now they're coming and saying, what's the new innovation that you have done? So, and not even, they don't even like to wait and see, I can do this for you. He says, do the demonstration for me. So therefore, you have to change based on the customer needs. Investments, what would happen to them? That's how you have to manage your P&L and your balance sheet. We're making these investments constantly to make sure, and some of the investments are paying back. An example I can't specifically say, as I said, I mentioned in somewhere earlier, the lifespan of an aircraft engine is 30 years, right? There's an aircraft engine which is just now 12 years old, I believe. And they're finding that there's a competitor coming in for that engine. So the customer came back to us and said, what can you do for this? We said, we'll make this engine more efficient. They said, can it be done on a risk-reward model? So we said, we'll do the weight reduction for the complete engine. We worked on the complete engine for them. It took 18 months for us. Not the hot sections, but the cold sections part of it. What did it mean? $9.5 million of investment we made. What's happening right now, engines with the new design are being shipped out. We get paid $18,000 for every engine gets shipping out. I believe they're doing the extrapolation of next 18 years lifespan left behind, how much we get about $38 million of money out of that. So therefore, you've got to work on strategies which will make sure that your investments come back.
One of the questions which startups are asked is, what is the problem that you're solving? So my question to you is, what is the problem they should solve? What are the large opportunity areas that you believe people here can definitely look at and work on?
Thank you for prompting that. I think first thing that I said is you have to look for a problem and solve the problem. And today there are so many opportunities that you have. There's so many problems that you have in the market space. And there are many solutions that are coming in. Where are these solutions coming in? To me, it's coming in because of technology. I believe if you look at historically, technology played an important role in the lives of mankind for the last 200 plus years. Around 1789 or so is when the first industrial revolution came by. But if you look at what's happening with technology today, it has never been experienced the same way by mankind any time. The pace of change and also the speed of change. As a result of that, there are too many opportunities that come by. And why is that happening? There are a number of forces at play. Cost of computing is coming down. Connectivity is increasing. Sensors are becoming dirt cheap and they're everywhere. They can sense everything and anything in the world. My new surprise is we have a blood sugar sensor. My wife was wearing it for 15 days. 2 millimeters by 4 millimeters, supplanted below the tissue. And it's like an injection prick. It can monitor for 15 continuous days blood sugar levels every 15 minutes apart. Amazing results thereafter. So there are sensors, and then you also have now algorithms being written. So as a result of it, there is tremendous amount of opportunities that come by. So my recommendation to all of you is look technology as a way of solving problems. Technology is also doing a lot of social good. So therefore, it is what are the problems that we have in the field? You can look one after the other. My favorite, of course, is health tech. Go give you an example. If some of you are familiar, there's an ECG machine, electrocardiograph machine it's called. What is it? You know, it basically monitors the behavior of your heart. What the traditional machine was doing is basically, you know, they have a glue that goes around, pneumatic attachments that are there, big bunch of wires as if, you know, you're all wired up at that point of time, and then goes into a box which has sinusoidal waveforms. People like me have to go through this every 6 months. The corner of my eye, I keep watching, and suddenly the waveform goes flat, and I keep suspecting that I should be dead at that point in time, because there's no sine wave any longer. But the fact of life is, it's because of a loose contact that's there on the body. Throw it off. And this young man, Amit Patel, it's one of our industry companies which just got sold off in the last couple of months. He did an IoT application. He extended, what is IoT application? Basically, the sensors which are disposable. So you just stick them on. That's all it is. After they're done, you throw them off. There's no more wired systems that are left behind. It's Bluetooth enabled. What does it do? It gets into one of your smartphones, and it's no longer sinusoidal waveform. What does it have? It has a red light, an orange light, and a green light. You're clean, there's a green light that comes in. You require attention, there's an orange light. You require an emergency, there's a red light. You go further down, you now get into predictive analytics. What is predictive analytics? You can now, if the same medication goes on, the same lifestyle continues, how long will it take for a patient to suffer a heart attack? A real problem. People are very interested in knowing this answer. And so therefore, technology can solve it. It's a solution because of big data. It was not possible in the past. Well, I talked about sensors at this point of time with disposable. The last ones that I saw is a wearable. It's actually a hand, you put on a glove on your hand. There are 5 sensors at the 5 ends of your tips of your finger. You just hold it against your heart. And you're seeing your heart beat coming up. Everything was on the screen. So to me, I'm fascinated with technology. I have never experienced, I'm 67 years old, and like a child I read every day about new things. And I'm sure you people are very lucky compared to me, because I never experienced this technology in my lifetime as I'm experiencing today. So use the technology to solve real problems. And the real problem, the other favorite of mine is agriculture. We're doing a proof of concept on what's called as precision agriculture. You fly drones, understand what's the health of the crop, and thereafter fly another drone behind it, which is precisely spraying the pesticide exactly where the pest is. What does the poor farmer do now? You see the pest in his farm, he goes and throws the pesticide all around. The cost analysis says that they will save 70% of pesticides if they use this drone solution. So there are all real problems that are there, which can be absolutely changing lifestyle of a number of people. That's what my piece of advice is. So that's all what we had. I'm sure we're past lunchtime. Thank you very much. Thank you to the organizers.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insights. A quick round for the results of the SMC Select. I request just 10 minutes, your patience before we finish this. And I know I am coming between the lunch, so just pardon me. So I request Mr. Srikanth Sastry to announce the results, and I request the companies to be present if their name comes up.
Solve real problems. That's the last thing Mr. Reddy said. Solve real problems is the first of the 5 criteria we had for judging. The other 4 criteria were the quality of solution offered to solve that problem. Third is progress or traction achieved so far. Fourth is how aligned is it to investor interests. And finally, is the team a balanced team or not? So 5 criteria, and there were
5 of us. There was weightage for the audience rating as well. And based on that, I'm going to read out the names of the winners. And you can see, when I read out the names, that all of them are trying to solve real problems. All of them had an innovative solution. They made varying degrees of progress with respect to traction, but that's understandable. It's a function of where you are in the life cycle. And that resulted in the kind of interest that the business generated. So, at number 3, we have 2 people tied. First is Kritsnam and Agois. Both are tied at number 3. Number 2, we have Prosoc. Can I request Ishan here? And any guesses who the number 1 could be? Audience? Number 1 is Oxen. Can I have Vishwajit coming up here? Each of them? This is Pratmesh from Agois. Ishan from Prosa. Vishwajit from Oxen. Thank you, Mr. All the way. Why don't we get all the judges, please? Ashish.
I request all the judges to please come on the stage.
Adrian. Sandeep. All the judges.
We request the judges to stay on stage. We have a small gift from SMC team. Request Mr. P. We are ready to hand over the. Thank you, Abhay.